It is finally game week, and you are watching Deep in the Stripes, the sickest Bengals podcast around. I am your host, Elise Jesse.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Deep in the Stripes with Elise Jesse.
From 31 yards, McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl. They did it. They beat Mahomes at home. Wow, Joe Burrow. No way.
The sickest Cincinnati Bengals podcast. It's gonna be sick.
I am thrilled to have you guys joining me today because the Bengals kick off their 2024 campaign right behind me in just a couple of days. The New England Patriots are coming to town, and we cannot even get through the show before we mention JaMarr Chase. We are all on JaMarr Chase watch, and today we saw something significant. JaMarr Chase walking into practice on the important day of practice when they actually make their installments. They've already been through a little bit of film, and they've got their pads on, and they're running through all the schemes and everything they expect to see and what they want to run on Sunday. So JaMarr Chase coming in with a jersey on, helmet in hand, alongside his teammate T. Higgins. He's walking, and he went through stretches as well with the rest of the team. He went through a little bit of drills, and then it looked like he was walking out to the actual practice field as the media was getting kicked out of practice. They don't want us to see any of the important stuff. So we get kicked out there, but you know what? That's okay. This is encouraging. It's an encouraging sign that we could see JaMarr Chase suit up as a starter on Sunday against the Patriots for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now that that conversation is out of the way, we've got to focus on one of the biggest components of this show today, which is defense. Defense, an all-important part of Cincinnati's scheme, an all-important part of Cincinnati's ability to do what they want to do. Their expectations are high. Their expectations include winning the AFC North, winning in the playoffs, and competing for a Lombardi trophy. You are not going to do that if you play the same exact kind of defense that the Cincinnati Bengals played last season. They were a team that gave up the most explosives in the league. Now, they did not have Von Bell with them. They now have Von Bell back. They also added Geno Stone in the offseason. Von is also a captain for the Cincinnati Bengals, one of 8 here. And one cool thing about him is that he's one of those guys that will take his time to bring the younger guys like Jordan Battle along. He will take his time to show him exactly what he's seeing on film and hope that he can help the young guys when they are out on the field, maybe make the game a little bit faster for them, because Cincinnati cannot go through the 2024 year 31st in total defense, which is what they were last year, 26th in rushing, and 28th against the pass. That is not going to cut it this season. I got a chance to talk to Von Bell. Here he is.
I tell him my piece, yeah. I tell my piece. I always show him my successes and failures, and always seeing how I look at the game, how I view the game, especially with the plays, how they come in, how they go attack us. So I'm always giving my P's and Q's on it, and I want them to give how they feel too. And I just want to have an open dialogue conversation with the young group and himself too.
Obviously, them bringing you back shows how valuable you were to this organization. Did you feel that coming back?
Oh yeah, for sure. I felt the love, felt the reciprocation and all that. So I'm just glad to be here. You know, I never take the moment for granted being in the NFL, being in the NFL locker room. But somewhere that you've been that has success, and you see the same guys that you went to war with, you can never take that for granted. And God never makes mistakes. And I'm where I need to be.
I love it. What do you feel this team is capable of in 2024, in your opinion? Pending health, of course.
For sure. Pending health, God willing, everybody stays healthy. But I feel like the sky's the limit for us, and I mean that very sincerely. We have a lot of talent, probably even more than what I've seen in the past years being here. And we just got to be on one accord, and everybody got to see it out of the same lens, and everybody got to have the same dialogue and the same wants. And that's what we got in this locker room. Hold everybody accountable out there, having fun, energy, and enthusiasm. And we just take it one play at a time, one game at a time. I think we're going to be all right.
I think it's encouraging to hear the veteran talk about how he thinks that this current Cincinnati roster is even more saturated with talent than it was when he was here from 2020 to 2022. During that time he was here, by the way, you probably remember the Cincinnati Bengals won and competed in the AFC Championship game twice and also competed in a Super Bowl. So that if that roster was talented and he's saying this roster is even more talented, you've got to feel some encouragement about that. Now, his teammate Geno Stone, an acquisition in the offseason, his story is really, really interesting. Played for the Baltimore Ravens, and when Marcus Williams went down, he got the opportunity to start, and he made the most of that opportunity. Came away from last year with 7 interceptions. And I think what's cool about his story is that his current position coach, Jordan Kovacs, also has a similar story to that of getting a chance out of nowhere. He had to be ready on the sidelines, had to be ready to go in at a moment's notice, and he was. And he went in and he took advantage of that position. Jordan Kovacs did that in college at Michigan. We are going to talk to him as well. Here he is. I am joined by Jordan Kovacs. And Jordan, I love your story. If you don't know, I'm about to tell you, because coming out of high school, you didn't have any offers. You enroll at Michigan and you go to the open tryouts. Then you called back for a physical. They find out you had knee surgery. Don't call you back. You try out again. Yeah. And then you move up the depth chart. Mike Williams gets injured against Notre Dame. You get the chance to go in and you make the most of your opportunity. You have a huge season for them. How often do you pull from an experience like that to get the most out of your current players?
Yeah, and I think that's just a message that's always kind of stuck with me is you never know when your opportunity is going to be there. And if you're lucky, it's there at some point. It's just about preparing like you're the next in and like, your opportunity is going to crack at some point. And I was fortunate, I had an uphill battle trying out at Michigan 2 times and then eventually being able to walk on from a student body trial. And I didn't know if it was ever going to crack, but I just wanted to be a part of the team. And then I just prepared like I was the next in. And things worked out for me in that way, and that's just kind of the same message that I have to my players is you don't know when your opportunity is going to be there, but when it's there, you better be ready to take it, and they've been great about it.
Yeah, absolutely take advantage. We're going to make sure this is still recording for us. Okay, there we go. We're still recording. And I wanted to know from your perspective because, last year, obviously, the Cincinnati Bengals did not have Von Bell on their roster. They did not have Geno Stone, which they acquired in the offseason this year. Didn't have like that veteran presence, I guess, in the safeties room. And unfortunately, that led to the Bengals giving up huge explosive plays, close to the most in the league. How frustrating was that? Because you guys, the way you practiced, was it not translating to the field? Was there a communication issue, a youth issue? What was the deal there?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you could point your finger at, and we all take responsibility for what happened last year. But to your point, I love where we're at from a defensive back standpoint, from a safety standpoint, and that's just we're really good at communicating. That's just kind of been the point of emphasis from day one. Vaughn is as good as there is at that, and then Geno is as well. And it's just been such a point of emphasis from not only myself, but from Lou and the rest of the coaching staff. And those guys have really just taken it to the next level.
I was joking with one of the players in the locker room because obviously New England decided not to roll out Drake May, their 3rd pick overall. They decided not to roll him out. They decide to go with Jacoby Brissett, a more experienced quarterback. And I was thinking maybe New England is worried that Cincinnati's defense is just going to crush him, going to kill their top pick. Am I wrong?
No, they're NFL players over there as well, so they're very talented, and we've got all the respect in the world for those guys. And our message to our players is let's control what we can control. It doesn't matter who's starting over there. Let's just take care of business and play football to the best of our ability.
What is your biggest message to the safety room this week?
It really feels like it's been a long off season, and finally, this week is here. We're kind of back on schedule. It feels like everything that we could put in has been in for the last week or so, and we're just kind of chomping at the bit to get out there. I'm sure there's some nervous energy, but my message to those guys is to just go out there and have some fun. Be confident, go out there, have some fun, and fly around. They're ready. And
I feel like in order to play well in Lou Anarumo's defense, you have to be a very smart player, but you also have to be a very smart coach in order to coach it well. Will you just describe the satisfying feeling of fully understanding a Lou Anarumo defensive scheme and being able to relay the information to the players?
Yeah, there's a lot of defense. I think that's one of the things that Lou does well. I think we play about every technique and every defense that there is. So from a coaching standpoint, that's been valuable for me to see firsthand. I know all the techniques, I feel like now, and that's kind of our MO in the offseason is we're going to install all the techniques, and from there we can build defenses based on those different techniques. So yeah, as a coach, it's really challenging. I've got to understand as much as I've got to know a lot of football, and then to communicate that to the players is another thing. And those guys have just, even the young guys have just been sponges. They've soaked it all up, and they're doing a great job.
Jordan, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate
Great work.
it.
Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Cincinnati Bengals safety coach Jordan Kovac, so kind of him to join us on Deep in the Stripes, the sickest Bengals podcast around. We appreciate you being here as well. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, because all that does is help us grow this show so that we can reach as many Bengals fans as possible. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Deep in the Stripes with Elise Jesse on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.